This is Bridging the Geekdoms podcast, a show where a couple of nerds shoot the shit and do their best at bridging all the geekdoms together as they talk movies, television, video games, comics, and so much more. As always, here are your hosts, Robert Slavinsky and Colton Bird. Holy crap, that's me. I'm Robert Slavinsky.
And it's your boy, the skinniest of the peas, Skinny Penis.
Or Colton Bird, as the announcement said at the beginning of the show.
He doesn't exist.
So what's going on, buddy?
Did some shit this week. I actually did some shit this week.
Really? Well, before we do that, this is Bridging the Geekdoms podcast. This is Volume 1, New Beginnings, Issue Number 3, TV show reboots and revivals. So that's kind of going to be the meat of our episode this week.
It's got to be the cock, and what we're doing right now is the balls.
Yeah. So, what's going on?
I did shit this week.
So what'd you do?
I went to Steel City Con. Saw Ian McDermott, told him to do it, and it was awesome. I went, ee and ran away.
Such a nerd.
Yeah, we did that. What else did we do? We did some other stuff this week. Nice. We did something on Friday. But anyway, we did that. That was cool. That was fun. Found a rare, kind of a rare Funko Pop figure. Picked it up. How about you? What did you do this week?
You know, you're like, I did a whole bunch of stuff. I did this, but not delve in. You don't delve into anything. You're just like, I did a bunch of stuff. That's all.
Just did some things and some stuff. That's all I did.
So what? So Steel City Con. Now, for people who don't live in the Pittsburgh area and are nerds and who have never been to Steel City Con,
Nicole, up until last week, a couple days.
Last year?
Up until a couple days ago. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I made a sentence and it didn't come out the way it was in my mind.
So, what does it all entail? Now, I went to Steel City Con last year. This is a con. It usually is about three or four times a year in Pittsburgh.
I think it's 2 this year.
Really? That's it? Bizarre. It's not a huge convention.
For the area, it's big.
But
compare it to New York Comic Con, it's nothing.
Comic-Con, yeah, it's nothing.
It's nothing like that.
I mean, you're talking about even less than a quarter of the size of those places.
But it's a shit stain compared to this.
But what drew you to going this year, or this time?
This time, let's see. Well, I collect Funko Pops.
Yeah,
everybody should know I collect Funko Pops. So I mean, there's a pretty big. There was every other vendor was a Funko Pop vendor, so it was cool. Ian McDermott, Alice Cooper. Who was the other? There was another person there. Oh, he didn't show up. The I can't think of his name. Darth Maul, but not
Ray Park.
Yeah, wasn't there. So it was just Ian McDermott and Alice Cooper this time. They didn't have Anthony Daniels, which was weird.
I'm sure
he's normally at all of them.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's pretty much all that made you go. So you spent the $15 just to go see a couple vendors, spend money, and...
Well, I like looking at the local art, too. Local artists. So I look around at that stuff, too. Yeah,
last time when we went late, and...
Pretty much everything was done.
Everything was closing up when I got there for the most part, so I got to look around a little bit. I still haven't gotten the full experience of Steel City Con, which hopefully one day I'll get to do that, but...
Maybe one day you'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to one day go both days. Saturday and Sunday.
It was fun. Saturdays are cool. Nicole asked me, why didn't we just come tomorrow? And I was like, because by the time we'd get here, everything would be closed.
Yeah. And for me, I would love to go and just talk to the people. Take a camera, because a lot of people dress up in cosplay.
Oh, there was a lot of fat Harley Quinns there, let me tell you.
There's always fat Harley Quinns.
It was
But, I mean, it's always fun to meet people. Like, when we went to the cosplay event, and, we talked to the people there. One of our buddies was actually in the cosplay contest.
Yeah. Him and his
daughter.
I didn't know his other daughter wasn't in it.
Yeah. And they actually won... I don't remember what it was they won for, but they
won something.
They won a few $100. I know that much.
Must be
Nice, yeah. But that's what I want to do. I just want to go and talk to the people, get to know people, get our name out in the community. That's what I want to do.
Well, we were throwing around the idea for the table there.
Yeah, but
until we realized it was like $700.
Yeah, $700 just to sit there and do nothing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So.
And then to even make money, you need like a state tax ID and shit.
Yeah.
It was like
way too much work.
We just want $700 to pay for the table.
Yeah. Somebody just give us $700.
That's all we want.
Yeah. What else did you do? You did
Oh,
that.
I bought my UMP.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, for Airsoft.
Yeah. One of those are coming up this week. Sure, we'll have war stories on
Have
next
some more
week.
stories. Well, see, that's kind of cool because we're just talking about cosplay and everything. This upcoming event, it's called Enter the Wasteland. It's at a field that used to be a paintball field up in Hubbard, Ohio.
I think it still is, kind of.
It's still a paintball field. Yeah, they do paintball as well as airsoft.
I think they do more airsoft.
But it's called, what, Battlefront? It's Battlefront?
Battlefield.
Paintball.
Maybe something like... It's something along those lines.
But it's up in Hubbard, Ohio. We've gone multiple times.
Yeah,
It's a blast.
we go every time,
basically, which is almost once a month. With that said, they have this event called Enter the Wasteland this week. Essentially, what it is it's
Think Fallout.
Yeah, I mean it's a storyline based game type. So essentially, we start at like 11, 12, and 11 in the morning. I think they're shooting for 11 a.m. this time because being PA TAC members, which is the Pennsylvania Airsoft members, we kind of like to sit around and drink beforehand
and
sometimes.
bullshit and
So we don't always get started on time. But I think they're shooting for 11 o'clock this week and this coming weekend. So anyway, and it's everybody. There's different factions that you can be a part of. You can be part of the citizenship. You can be part of the foreign military, mercenaries,
foreign military,
scavengers. And if you're a part of one of those, you can become a role player. And you come up with a story. And I literally have been sitting for the past probably about 4 or 5 days creating the story for my character.
Yeah.
So when I get there on the field, like I'm going to be completely that character. There will be no more me. There will be that character.
It's crazy how that character spawned out of your team just leaving you.
Yeah. Because we had an event like this,
Which was ironically me attacking you.
yeah, which was 6 or 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And my character was brutally murdered, scavenged, and his flesh eaten by the scavengers.
By your boy Skinny Penis.
And
the penis was hungry.
well, what I decided
You have
to do,
to feed the penis.
what I decided to do is make my character for this event to be the brother of.
What's your name? I know your name was Robert Slavinsky when you died.
It's gonna be Bob.
Bob Slavinsky.
I'm the twin brother.
So Robert and Bobbert.
Yeah, there we go.
Bobbert Slavinsky.
Anyways, I mean that's just the funny side of it. But essentially, I'm gonna be driven by the death of my brother, and that's what's gonna push me through the.
Oh my
the
god!
scenarios.
You should bring a lightsaber.
Why?
Bring 2 of them. So that way, like when you're starting out, you can be blue and a Jedi, and right when you turn, just start dual wielding and shooting and slicing people apart. That would be awesome. I want to be there when that happens.
Oh, man, I should have bought a play sword. I'm gonna stop at Walmart and see how much a play sword is. One of those foam play swords, because I might take one.
And just.
I mean, it's all about cosplay and being a different character. Like that would just be fun.
Exactly.
And find out, hey, can a sword be allowed? If I could hit somebody with a sword, are they dead? Like they should be, right?
In theory.
Yeah. Oh man, thanks.
You're welcome. Always thinking.
But anyway, so that's coming up. That's this Sunday up in Hubbard, Ohio. And anybody,
Well, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday is the kind of we just get there, start talking. We kind of have a camp out.
It's the PA TAC pre-drink to the real drink.
Yeah, but Sunday is the actual event. If you're listening, if you're an airsoft player and you want to go, it's in Hubbard, Ohio. And yeah, that's about it. Anyways, what did I do this week?
You were chilling with your son.
Yeah, hung out with Chase this week. That was fun. Tried to get him to do a podcast. He actually didn't want to do a podcast this week. I was surprised.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, what are we going to talk about? I was like, oh, no, you always want to do podcasts. What do you want to talk about?
You can do Minecraft.
Nothing. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Nice. Just gets on the air. For like 45 minutes. TR. Oh, shit. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
TRC man. Season 2, Episode 1, 45 minutes of silence.
Oh, boy. What else did I do? I worked. The biggest thing that I did was I watched Lost in Space, but I want to get into that later on in the show. The new series on Netflix. We'll get into that later. Really, I mean, I just basically watched the Penguin games.
Nice.
Oh, no. I'm going to talk about this right now. I watched the season finale
of
The Walking Dead.
How was that? Because I completely just ignored it.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I was asleep.
And rightfully so. Look, this is going to be somewhat spoiler-filled for The Walking Dead Season 8 finale, so if you didn't watch it...
If you couldn't predict it by now...
So, here's the thing. They've been building up this all-out war all season. And while earlier in the season, yeah, there was a good amount of fighting and battling and stuff like that. Awesome. But since then, they have been... there's this war. This war is going to come to an end. This war is going to come to an end.
But does it come to an end?
Then they were talking about how, like, the past couple of weeks, they were saying, look, this finale is going to wrap up the past 8 seasons. It's going to wrap it up with a nice little bow, all tied up nice and neat. So the last 8 seasons, like, think of it as a new beginning. After this season, it's a new beginning.
Weren't they supposed to soft reboot the series at season 9?
So... I go and watch it. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of excited. Now, I'm a huge fan of Negan, not just because of Negan, but because of Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think he is a fantastic
You just like the actor.
He does a fantastic job as Negan. When I read the comics, I saw Negan one way in my head, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan is damn close to how I envisioned, how he would sound and everything. You can see in the comics the picture, but sound-wise and acting-wise, that's pretty damn close to what I saw. So, going into this, I was like, okay, first off, they can't kill Negan, not because it doesn't happen in the comics, but because he has become the Walking Dead so much. I think I'm not the only person that really enjoys Negan. So that was number 1. Number 2, they can't kill Rick. And all these people want to say, oh, it's time for Rick to die. There's, people putting up blogs that are saying, oh, it's time for The Walking Dead to walk away from Rick and blah, blah, blah.
It's time for The Walking Dead to walk into the grave.
Here's the thing. They're not going to kill Rick. I'm not saying that he won't ever die, but...
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. That's going to be an end-of-series type of thing. He's the main character. And whether people did not like Carl dying, or if they did like that, like I'm somebody who not enjoyed him dying, but I liked what it did to the story from a certain aspect. Like, it started to make... It was easy to now see, okay... Everybody isn't safe. Like, that was the thing. All these main characters just felt so safe. Daryl, Michonne, Rick. They all felt safe because, they're main characters.
Yeah, like they got that plot armor.
Exactly. So it was nice to see them killing off a character that you're like, he's safe. Well, no, he's not. And he felt one of the most safe because he's still in the comics to this day, which is much farther ahead than the show is right now. So
and probably ever will be.
Maybe. So anyways, with that... I went into this episode thinking, like, okay, we're going to get a fucking battle. Like, this is going to be badass fighting, explosions, gunfire.
T-Rexes, fucking stegosaurs, fucking some dude in a dick outfit comes out just shooting a dildo gun at people. Fucking this staple gun man does a really cool action dive across the car, shoots a staple into someone's forehead.
Okay, anyways. So
what? I thought I was going good there.
So I was really, really excited about it. We got maybe... a minute and a half, 2 minutes max of any kind of fighting.
Nice.
So this episode was extended in quotations, 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes is extended, so it was 70 minutes instead of 60 minutes long. Now, you got to remember, a 60-minute episode on TV is really 41 to 42 minutes of showtime, all right? Because they have almost 20 minutes of commercials. So they're like, let's extend it 10 minutes. So you would think that we're going to get 10 more minutes of actual show. I think we got a minute more of show because they just filled the rest of that 10 minutes with fucking commercials. Nice. There were more commercials. I think there were 6 or 7 commercial breaks within the first 40 minutes.
That's insane. I would have turned it off. I'd have been like, I don't even care anymore.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So... that was upsetting. That was angering because it was just like you would see 3 minutes of show and then it was commercial. And 3 minutes of show and then it was commercial. Annoying as shit.
Yeah, I'd been like, no, bye.
On top of the fact that they promised something that didn't come. They were talking about this war. Didn't come. Then they tried to do this convoluted story where Negan is going to trick Rick but he's going to trick Rick to go here, but really he's going to trick Rick when he gets there to go here. And it was just like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like, are we 4?
Like, I get that you're trying to get the upper hand, but the writers did not need to make it so fucking convoluted that I think even the actors were confused on what the hell was going on. So that was annoying. Then they had to just, for the last season or 2 seasons, the character Eugene has been oh, I am Negan, I am Negan, I am Negan. And then all of a sudden he's, I'm going to fuck up the bullets so everybody gets shot whenever they shoot their guns. And it was just like, it didn't feel right. Like nothing flowed.
Yes, his character turn made no sense.
Exactly. So that was annoying.
What wasn't annoying about the episode?
The showdown between Rick and Negan was almost comic accurate. You know, they meet face to face. They get into a little tussle, a couple, punches to the face.
Give them a haymaker and the baby maker.
They tackle each other, and then Negan pretty much gets the upper hand. And he was like, I'm going to fucking kill you, Rick. Like, it's over.
Like, do it.
Now, Rick, the entire time, this entire season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, however long it's been since Negan's come into the picture, Rick has had one thing in mind: kill Negan. That's it. So for we're talking 30 episodes minimum, he has been kill Negan, kill Negan, kill Negan. That's all I care about is killing Negan.
Same.
Then Carl dies, and Carl writes letters to everybody like, I think we don't need to fight anymore. I think there's a future where Rick and Negan can live together happily ever after, butt fucking each other. Something like that's literally how ridiculous that those letters were, because that's what it was. There was no emotion in those letters. Like they tried to, in the previous episodes, they tried to make you feel like Rick is reading the letter from Carl and he's like sitting there sobbing, and I'm like, there's nothing. It's not hitting me.
Hear that? Yeah. The world's smallest violins.
So, even after that episode, when Rick read that letter, Rick is still, I'm going to kill Negan. Like, this entire time, I'm going to kill Negan. So, the final showdown happens. Like I said, it's very comic accurate to the point where Negan's throat gets slit. So, Rick slits Negan's throat. Okay? Cool. Comic accurate. Now, the comic, he survives. I get that, okay?
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't want to see Negan die because I think he's a great character for the show. But you have Rick going down a certain path. So he slits his throat, turns around, and he's crying. This is what Carl wanted. He starts talking shit like that. And he tells the doctor, go save him. And the doctor saves him. All right? So, because he didn't, like, slit his throat completely. It was just, like, a cut, like, enough to, like, he could bleed out and die. But if he got medical attention, he could survive. So that's kind of what happened there. So
go on.
So Rick's, basically he switched in the span of like 3 seconds. Kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Because living in a post-apocalyptic world, killing zombies daily, almost killing one person's mentally scarring. Anyway.
So, now, if you know, Negan killed Glenn 3 seasons ago, 2 seasons ago, whatever.
Yeah, the whole, we talked about that, the whole controversy of why are your kids watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So, so Negan kills Glenn. Maggie, who's Glenn's wife, is livid. Her mindset since that episode has, I need to get revenge, I need to kill Negan.
Justifiably.
So she sees Rick slit his throat. You can kind of tell she's like, all right, good.
Cool.
He's going to die.
My arc's over. Walks away into the sunset.
And that's the kind of thing with Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie with no contract at this point, that could have been a good way for her to leave. But Rick goes, save his life. Maggie freaks out. So, no. Again, comic accurate somewhat. She does not like the fact that
she's understandably.
Exactly. I get it. Yeah. It is what it is.
That's writing. I can pick it behind it. Okay.
Now, you also have to remember this. For the last 4 or 5 seasons, Maggie has been, and Daryl have been right there with Rick. Yeah, sometimes they've disagreed with him and stuff like that, but they've
for the
always
most
been
part,
by his side, willing to work with him and understanding all his plans and what he's going to do moving forward. From the very, for 5 years almost.
Understandable.
So after all the little tussle was over, which all of that basically was 60 minutes. Or 60. So that was from what the show starts at 9. At this point, it was just about 10 o'clock. Just shy of 10 o'clock at this point. Everything I just told you.
Okay, cool.
So
I would have been like, kill me now.
So
someone slit my throat.
So at the very end, as they're wrapping stuff up, because remember, this was supposed to wrap up the last 8 seasons of the show.
Cool. Okay. Make one guy survive that shouldn't have.
So we get a shot of Maggie, who's now in charge of the community known as the Hilltop, and she's in charge there.
That's what I like to call my community.
And she's sitting in her office.
Nice.
And she's talking to the one character named Jesus, and she's saying,
Same.
I know you trust Rick. I've, always been there with Rick and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to be there for him. We're going to stand next to him now. But when the time is right, we're going to show him why he was wrong. So Maggie all of a sudden just did this big, like, it was like, oh my God, it was like a Shyamalan twist. Like, what a twist, because now she
became the antagonist.
They're alluding to the idea that she could become the villain next season. Okay, but here's
get behind it.
Here's the big kicker. She then looks up and starts talking to somebody else, and out of the shadows, literally, he comes out of the shadow of the room is Daryl, and he's like, "I'm with you." So all of a sudden, Rick's right-hand man, who's been next to Rick for so long, and Maggie for so long, they do this big switch because he didn't kill Negan. Here's the thing. No, he did not kill Negan. But you see in the next scene that they're going to imprison him. They literally tell him, look, you're going to be an example, that we don't need to kill people, but we are going to make an example out of you, and you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. Until you die, you will be in prison. So, again, comic accurate. Happens in the comic. But, what the fuck? Like, it didn't wrap anything up.
No, it didn't. It didn't do anything like that at all. I mean, I could see where the villain turn could be there. I could see it. Daryl, not so much. Maggie, I can see. I can see the hill turn. Just kill him. Fucking kill everybody. Somehow the U.S. Army or U.S. or politics survived, and they just nuked the shit out of everything.
Yeah. I don't know. It was pretty disappointing of an ending.
Yeah.
I talked to some people who were like, "Oh, it was a great ending." I'm like, "No, it was one of the worst, most disappointing season finales since season 3 of The Walking Dead."
Yeah, because it didn't promise anything. It didn't fulfill anything.
Not to mention that there's some dumb-ass decisions made by the writers. For one, the one stronghold that they have, like, on lockdown is the Hilltop. Mm-hmm. Now, there's other communities they have. There's, Rick, who's in charge of Alexandria, Maggie, who's the Hilltop. You have Ezekiel, who's in charge of the Kingdom. And, you have these 3 leaders who are, of these other communities. All of a sudden, they're like, we're going to go kill Negan. They all leave the Hilltop. The one stronghold that they have, all the leaders leave and leave a couple of just nobodies behind to protect it. First off, that's dumb. No,
that's not even a strong military tactic.
That's not what would happen. Like, I understand the whole idea of your leaders going to the battlefield, but guess whose battle this was? This was Rick's battle. So Rick should lead to the field. You keep Maggie back. No, Maggie doesn't want to stay because she wants to see Negan die. Perfect. So you keep Ezekiel back. No reason why Ezekiel had to go out there. So he sits back, watches the stronghold with a couple soldiers that actually can do something. The rest of the soldiers and them, they go. That's perfectly fine. I understand that. That was one writing aspect that was stupid. There's a couple others I'm not going to get into, but then the one thing that I thought was fucking hilarious. So they all run into like this open field, all right? Mm-hmm. Rick and all of them, and they have their guns.
Okay, PA tax stat. Okay. Strats here.
So up on like a hillside further away is where Negan is, and he has a speaker, like a big microphone he's talking into, and it's blaring out to him. And Rick doesn't really see where he's at yet. And he starts looking around. Now, again, he's holding an AK-47 in his hand. All of his troops, quote-unquote troops, and civilians are behind him. He starts with the gun waving it in front of his people, looking around. I'm like, that's not very smart. You don't wave your fucking gun around in the face of all of your
like, hey people. Guys, hey guys, we're gonna do this, okay? We're gonna do this.
It was pretty bad. I mean, there's some things about that show, and I guess you can say that I sit there and try and find and pick out these things that are just stupid and bullshit, but some of them are so glaring, and it's just
injustifiable.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to watch next season yet. I have been told to. Again, I stopped reading the comics shortly after Negan was introduced. Mm-hmm. So I've been told what to expect coming up. I kind of have an idea of what's coming up. But I'm curious if they're going to follow the comics. With Scott and Gimple now stepping away from being the showrunner, are they going to stay comic book accurate? Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, and who was a big voice on the show for the first 7 seasons, he has stepped away from the show. Like, yeah, he does his appearances on Talking Dead and stuff like that because he's still a producer on the show, but he's not involved like he used to be because he got into it with the showrunners and was basically like, he did not agree with Carl's death. Like, from the rumors and things that I've seen and read, he was not on board for Carl's death.
You're not on board for Carl's death.
Which is why he decided to walk away. So he leaves the show.
He was like, give it away now.
He was probably the one person who was trying to stay comic accurate, but
kind of deviate
slightly because you want to change it up a little bit. So are they now with him gone,
the
with
what
Scott
ifs
and
in his
Gimple
head.
gone? Like, are they going to just go comic book accurate, or are they going to go way off the rails? Because if they stay comic book accurate, from what I've heard, there's about a 2-year time jump now. So
that would be interesting.
Jumps up 2 years from where they're at this point. So I guess we'll see what's going to happen. But I don't know.
No, I need to read the comics. I don't even remember where I'm at. I don't know. I got to read them though. They're so fucking expensive.
Yeah, they are. That's why I say wait to get the compendiums.
Yeah, that's. I think I'm like halfway through the first one. Yeah. I think. I don't remember.
I still need to read the third compendium. I read the first 2 compendiums, and then I read a handful of the issues after the second compendium. But I want to get the third compendium to read all that.
But even still, the compendiums are like $50 fucking
$40-$50, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you figure you buy each comic individually, you're looking at
you're looking at about
$70-$80.
Yeah.
You know, so
trust me, I'm learning that. I'm learning that.
So, going to move on to some things here. Video games, some news, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Ooh.
Some video game stuff. Just a couple things that I thought were pretty interesting. One, Phil Spencer of Xbox promises for more first-party games from Microsoft. I've been saying for so long they need to utilize these properties that they have. You know, Banjo-Kazooie, Cameo, Perfect Dark. They have some of these.
But are we ready for another Banjo-Kazooie game?
The last one was nuts and bolts, and it was a fucking failure. So I think they need to.
Yeah, but the game similar to it, Ukulele, that came out last year, 2 years ago, was a complete failure. I have the game; it's a really good game, but no one bought it.
Name. Ukulele doesn't have a name. Banjo-Kazooie has a name. If they can capture even half, if they make it a continuation of, say, Banjo-Tooie from the Nintendo 64, they can make it a continuation of that story.
Oh my god, I just got the name.
And capture what was so great about it then. It'll sell like hotcakes. You have to remember,
you're a hotcake.
It's not that people don't want platformer games. They do. Look at Mario. Look at Zelda. You know, well, yes, Legend of Zelda is more an RPG, but it's a platforming RPG. You know,
at its heart.
Yeah. So. And then you have Mario. Like, they sell like hotcakes. You know,
your mom was a hotcake.
No reason, and people are asking for games like Spyro. They're asking for games like Jak and Daxter. They're asking for games like.
Is that not in your notes?
No, but that's what people are asking for. Like, that's what they want. So why doesn't Xbox say, look, they want those games. We can make games just as good, if not better. That first Banjo-Kazooie game, when I was a kid, I played that game so much. Like,
I still kind of occasionally play the game.
I'm a huge platformer. I love platformers. So give me a good one. Like, I wanted to play what is that Tales game that just came out. I can't remember what it's called all of a sudden, but it literally just came out on Xbox. But it's a platformer game that came out.
It's not ringing a bell.
And I think it's only like $30. I just haven't picked it up yet. I want to, but Airsoft takes most of my money.
Yeah, same.
So I can't agree more with Phil Spencer on them needing to have more first-party games from Microsoft, because they have a lot of good first-party games in their box, their arsenal that they can use. They do Halo, they do Forza. I'm probably missing one, but those are their 2 biggest. Gears of War, those are some of their biggest. And no, actually, Gears of War isn't a first-party game. So
the first one was.
No, it was just an exclusive, not a first party. First party is Microsoft Studios.
Never mind. Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah, but that's kind of what they need to focus on. And E3 is coming up in a few weeks.
Dear God,
a month and a half.
Yeah,
2 months.
There goes my week.
But with E3 coming up, they need to announce some big things, because while the Xbox One X has sold very well. I expect PlayStation within the next 9 months to a year to announce their PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft needs to get on the ball with
Yeah.
getting people back to the Xbox.
Yeah.
You know, they built up so much momentum with the 360 and then
pondered it.
And then they flubbed it with the Xbox One. And they flubbed it with the Xbox One when they didn't need to, because the PlayStation 4 is not much better than the Xbox One. They have a
not
few...
with the One X.
No,
Definitely not with the One X.
I'm saying from a game standpoint.
Yeah.
So PlayStation doesn't have these huge games for the PlayStation 4. They just don't. Like, yeah, they have a few.
God of War.
But that's just coming out. That's coming out this week. So up until this point,
it's out already.
Is it out already?
Yeah, it came out last week.
I thought it was tomorrow, but okay, maybe it was.
No, it was last week.
All right, Last of Us, but that was a PlayStation 3 game. You know. So
it was remastered.
So like that's what I'm saying is there wasn't anything they had. What was that game called that came out last year? Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Fucking phenomenal game.
Horizon Zero Dawn. That was a huge game.
I fucking love that game. But you figure,
like, that game, that game is a console moving game.
Yeah, no, that was a really good fucking game.
Prior to that game in the PlayStation 4 history, before that game, did they have a game that could move their console?
Crash.
No, they really didn't.
Other than
I'm
Crash.
saying in PlayStation 4, like, Crash wasn't gonna. Was there a Crash game that came out before that?
No.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is for PlayStation 4, so the release date of PlayStation 4 until Horizon Zero Dawn, was there a game that could move that console?
If you want to count Until Dawn probably could have sold a couple.
Okay.
Not as many as Horizon Zero Dawn.
Metal Gear Solid should have been.
Yeah, should have been, but you
got to remember that's now cross-platform.
Yeah.
You know, not cross-platform, but multi-platform. You take a look at the Xbox One. Their release titles, they had some damn good release titles.
Did you play Rise?
Rise was
fucking phenomenal. That showed off the graphics.
Titanfall
is underrated. I don't care what anybody says.
Like they had the launch titles over Sony. They had them, but they flubbed up. They completely fucked up on their announcing of the console. They underestimated how the fans would feel about the Always Connect. You know, that's what they underestimated. And then the Kinect itself, the actual camera,
thing that is discontinued already.
They thought that, hey, we're going to be revolutionary. And I get it. More power to companies who want to try to be revolutionary and try something different, but they kind of fucked up right there. They just did.
Yeah,
you know?
like when the Kinect for the 360 didn't really catch on, should have been a hit.
But it did. The Kinect did catch on with the 360. I think the problem is it died down. Mm-hmm. It died down very quickly, and Microsoft didn't realize that. Think of it this way:
the fact that there was a lack of games.
Take a look at the Xbox One right now. Okay, the design, not just the design of the console itself, but I'm saying like the interface.
Mm-hmm. The home screen's so much easier to navigate, in my opinion.
Not only that, but take a look at everything about it. If they would have announced what Xbox One is today, if they would have announced that on their announcement, having the lineup of games that they had within their first 6 months of release,
Dead Rise, everything.
It would have outsold the PlayStation 4, and it would be a very different tune today. Mm-hmm. I don't think though we would have gotten an Xbox One X. I don't think we would have gotten to that point, because Xbox One X was more along the lines of we need to do something to get our Xbox brand recognized again. So
I feel you.
That's kind of where I think Microsoft where they screwed up. I had arguments with people after the Xbox announcement, the Xbox One announcement, with people. I'm like, you guys don't understand. This is such a much better console than the PlayStation 4. I was so impressed. Like, when the PlayStation 4 announcement happened, dude, I was so impressed. I was on the fence about, like, I'm going to go PlayStation 4. I'm going to go, they haven't announced the new Xbox yet, but I'll see what they have. But the PlayStation 4, damn, it looks so good.
And here I am sitting with both.
Yeah, but then the Xbox One was announced, and I was like, holy shit, I see what they're doing. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the ultimate home system, you know, where you can do everything on your console. Yeah.
Everything runs through it.
Makes so much sense to me, you know, especially in today's world. just other people couldn't grasp it. Other people didn't grasp it, and I think because they focused more on the home side and not the game side, that's where they flubbed up, and that's why it didn't sell as well as it should have. That's my opinion. So Microsoft really needs to focus on the games right now. They need to focus on games. They need to bring people like, look at these fucking games that we have. Come play us.
I think it's interesting that, as you mentioned, Spyro, that so we're getting a Spyro remake. We're getting the first 3 games remade, just like Crash. Yeah. Did you hear how it was announced? And Crash Warped, like the original one, you could type in, I forget what the code is, and you could play the Spyro the Dragon demo. Mm-hmm. In the Insane trilogy, that code still worked on the warp thing, but it didn't do anything. So they did an update, and someone did the code, and you got a Spyro demo, and that's how it was announced.
Oh.
But it's cross-platform now. Or not cross-platform, multi-platform. Okay. So it's no longer a PlayStation exclusive.
There you have it. I mean, you're going to see a lot of... That's why, Phil Spencer was talking about first-party games. Mm-hmm. Because most third-party games are cross-platform. They go on any
big ones.
Exactly.
Far Cry.
Exactly.
GTA.
So that's why, the first-party games, they really need to focus, because that's what draws people to a console. That's what makes you want to buy a console.
Yeah.
And again,
unless
Titanfall wasn't a first-party game, but it was an exclusive for the Xbox when it was coming. The Xbox One was coming out,
And it was so underrated. I don't know why it didn't catch on.
The second one, the first one caught on, because I didn't get my Xbox One until... Actually, I got my Xbox One the week before Titanfall came out. Mm-hmm. And I got my Xbox One, and then I got Titanfall, and I played that for like 6-7 months straight.
It was such a good game.
It was so much fun. Titanfall 2, not so much.
I like Titanfall 2 still. I still liked it.
Some Star Wars Battlefront news?
What? Oh, yeah, no. I forgot to put that in there.
Starting on April 18th, Battlefront 2 will have an update for the game.
We have an excuse to play it again.
This update will include a new Ewok hunt mode where you will be able to play as Ewoks.
I am so hyped for that. Did you watch the trailer for it? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So it's like, what is it called? Like Knights of Endor or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. You just go around fucking getting some poo-poo on your pee-pee.
Yeah, just taking down some stormtroopers as Ewoks.
That gives me an excuse.
Supposedly it's like a zombie mode. That like it's an adaptation of a zombie mode or something, I've heard.
I mean, maybe survival. I don't know. That seems like it's weird. It's weird. I can get behind using Ewoks to kill stuff, but why does it gotta be survival? Just do it like the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Defend your outposts as long as you can. Boom. There you go.
All right.
Hard part done.
So last week we talked about some comics. The one that I talked about was Dead Leap, which was created by our good friends over.
Our good friend over at DP Comics.
DP Comics. He's from Deej Penhollow, from Nerdtalkalypse. So I finally got our copy. I gave it a read. Colton gave it a read. What are your impressions?
Why isn't there a first issue?
Well, so
I mean, I know you have to write it and stuff.
So this issue number 0, and it's just called Dead Leap.
Can we have the alternate cover, please?
It's read by Deej Penhollow, and the art was by Jeremy Calderon. Now, from what I understand, he does have a new artist for his next issue and probably going forward. Now, with that, I gave this a read. I went in knowing that issue number 0 is an introduction to the world. It's an introduction to the characters. That's all it simply is. It's not going to do much but get you interested in what you're going to be seeing in this series. So I gave it a read, and I really enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah. Can I get the first issue, please?
Yeah. I don't want to go too much into it, but it's just essentially it's just a guy having a bad day. Essentially, like
real bad
day, and he just.
But we've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. But he gets into, he meets somebody, and things just kind of go from there. He meets two somebodies, I should say. So things go from there. I don't want to give anything away because it's a good read. At the end of it, I definitely was sitting there like, I want to read the next issue. Like, I want to see what's
Tell me the story. I want to receive the story all over my face and let it drip onto my chest.
Okay. So what we're going to do is in our comment section, in our description, we will have a link to where you can check out the comic. You can buy the comic. You can like their Facebook page. Everything like that. You can do it all there. That way you can keep up to date and follow them, because I think this is going to be one of those, independent comics that it's just going to be good. Like I'm really looking forward to it. So again, it's written by Deechman Hollow from Nerdtalkalypse.
We should follow in his footsteps and write our own.
There we go. Just keep copy everything he does.
Exactly. Before you know, we're gonna make a Christmas mixtape. You want to do it? We can start writing it now. Produce it. It'll be out in time.
So, check it out, Dead Leap. What are your thoughts? Like, what did you like it?
I like it. Can we get the first couple issues like really quickly, please?
I think.
You can just give me the script. I don't need all the pictures.
I think what he's planning is it's going to be like a bi-monthly. Not a bi-monthly.
A bi-weekly?
No, every other month.
Biannually?
It's going to be every other month.
Okay, so bi-monthly.
Is that bi-monthly?
Yes.
I'm always confused. Is it bi? Is it straight gay? Like, I don't know what it is.
Is it refrigerator? Is it taco or burrito? What's that in your Speedo?
So yeah, it's going to be, I think he's going to shoot for every other month. I don't know if that's going to be what he's able to do or not. Because he does have a full-time job and everything like that. So hopefully
he's
he does.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, he is a busy man. But check him out on his Facebook page. Like I said, the description, or in our description below, is where you can get the information where to find him.
What do the QR codes do?
I believe it takes you to their Facebook page.
Cool.
So that's Dead Leap, so check it out. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for the next issue.
Maybe next week I'll read some of the Emperor Aquaman, give you some shit on Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's so old though.
Who
cares? Be reading new stuff.
Who cares? I'll review Flashpoint 17 times. I don't give a fuck.
So on television.
You're on television.
I am on television.
Nice.
Gotham.
Nice.
Gotham revealed who the Joker actually is, apparently, on last week's episode. So,
who's the Joker this week, apparently?
Jeremiah. Yeah. So, but people were all up in arms because of the way it was done, how it was handled.
All up in arms.
So they were all like, "What the hell's going on?"
Rips off someone's arm, holds it up.
I don't know. I kind of dig what they're doing with it. It's different. I know it's not the story that everybody wants. You know, the story, is called, basically from the comics, it's One Bad Day. It's where the guy who becomes the Joker is a stand-up comedian. He has one bad day. Puts on starts to
has one bad day, kills 17,000 people.
Goes and robs something. Batman's there. He falls to escape him. He jumps into some chemicals. Eventually becomes the Joker. That kind of thing. Like that's
Yeah, same.
It's been a while since I read that.
It's been a while.
That comic, so I don't remember it verbatim. But essentially, that's one of the origin stories that is believed to be Jokers. You can believe that one, or you can believe some other ones. There's a couple other ones that have come out. This one is just a different one. And people are so upset because this isn't the one that they envision in their mind. And it's just like, sometimes you have to allow people to do something different.
It's not your story.
This is such a different type of take on Batman and the mythology, that we've ever seen before. So just accept it for what it is and enjoy it. Don't sit there and criticize something that it's done well. It's just,
are these the same people that realize that there's like 17 different Batman in the comics, right?
Different types of Batman.
Like
personas and stuff. These are all the people that bitched and complained that Ben Affleck wasn't Christian Bale, or that Jared Leto isn't Heath Ledger. Like, these are the people that are complaining. And it's just so damn annoying.
Marvel fans.
But again, it's just, and people say that I'm the one that's anyways. So Gotham, it's excellent. They're starting to now allude to getting more into the Batman mytho again, and starting to see Bruce Wayne really become Batman
as he beefs up, injects 17 steroids into his dick alone.
So I'm looking forward to that. Titans. So the DC show Titans.
Oh dear God! Please don't talk about it.
There was a photo that jumped up online. It was behind the scenes. It seemed to be, just the actors just sitting on the side of the road. Before
yeah,
a scene
being awful.
and people are really not
Yeah.
happy about Starfire.
Not in no one. I am not happy about anybody that looks in that.
Beast
no.
Boy.
Beast Boy's the closest. Everybody else.
he's
Raven,
just not
Starfire,
green. No, Beast Boy just isn't green.
and you have to live with that. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Raven doesn't look too bad.
She could be better. I
Could be
I can get behind Raven, I guess. Starfire,
Yeah, was bad.
just
Now she.
Sorry.
Way to bend the corners of a comic book, you idiot.
it's in a fucking protector. Calm your titties. Just oh my god.
So-
Starfire's so bad, and it's not even the actress; it's the goddamn directors.
Yeah, but the actress who plays Starfire like freaked out on social media. You've taken it out of context. We're not shooting. Blah blah blah. Look, there's not much that could be done to fix what that looks like.
Yeah, no,
So-
you don't. Her hair is straight and yours is crimped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So we'll see what happens.
Titans 2018 to 2018.
I still like the photo that we got of Robin. Not too
Oh my
long
god,
ago
yeah,
was
that
excellent.
looked good.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's gonna get his own standalone TV show.
Maybe.
$20.
Yeah, but that's supposed to come out next year sometime. So
2019 to 2019.
Jessica Jones has been renewed for season 3 on Netflix. I'm actually excited about that. I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Jessica Jones.
You're blowing your cover, man.
So
I'm speaking low and I'm like, you can't hear me. You're supposed to hate Marvel.
I don't know. I'm excited
You're
about
supposed to
Jessica
hate
Jones.
Marvel.
No, just the movies.
You're supposed to hate.
Just the movies.
You're a movie.
So I'm excited about that. Jumping to movies. I knew he was going to do that.
I stumbled on that one.
A new Jurassic World trailer is to premiere this Wednesday. However, I think we actually got either a sneak peek of the trailer during The Walking Dead last night, or it was the trailer because it was a bunch of new footage that I have not seen yet at this point. So
Probably got the new footage.
I don't know if they flubbed up and were like, here's the trailer. Oops, we gave the wrong trailer to The Walking Dead. You know, I
Or
don't know.
whoops, we gave the wrong date.
Yeah. But either way, new trailer supposed to premiere on Wednesday. So that's that. Incredibles 2 trailer. Did you check it out? Did you see it? What do you think?
Okay, can that movie come out tomorrow, please?
Trailer made me less excited.
What?
Yeah. I love The Incredibles. But
You
the
know it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. I'm finding with these Pixar movies.
That the second one sucks. Always.
Yeah. That the trailers actually make me less interested in the movie. Like the first, they announce a movie and then I see a teaser. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But when I see a full-length trailer for these Pixar movies, I'm just really uninterested at that point. Then I will watch the movie and I love it. Like take Coco for instance.
Yeah, you fucking hated that movie when I talked about
Like
it.
the first teaser trailer, I was like, okay, I'm into it. And then we saw the full-length trailer. I was like, what the fuck is this?
You're like,
and then I watched the movie. I was like, whoa! Like
You're like,
it's one of my top 3 favorite Disney Pixar films.
you're
Like,
welcome.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what's happening here. Maybe because my expectations are so high for Incredibles 2.
Yeah, because it's The Incredibles 2 that you're going to be like, well, if this is anything less than what it's
one
hyped
thing
up to.
that stuck out like a sore thumb to me right away
Was a sore thumb.
was Dash's voice. It is very different. Now, obviously, the kid who was Dash when the first one came out is no longer a kid at this point.
Yeah.
So they can't get him. But they could have gotten somebody whose voice was closer than it is.
They could have did a little bit of a time jump. Make it make sense.
Maybe like his voice is just not good. Like it pulled me out of the trailer. Like I was like, what? No, that's not Dash's voice. Like that's literally what it did to me. So besides that, it looks good. I'm gonna really hold my opinion on it until I see it because
It comes out this summer, doesn't it?
June. Yeah.
June. Ooh, that's soon.
Yeah.
Oh my! Could you imagine leaving for Airsoft, but we're like, hold on, guys, we gotta go see The Incredibles first. Drag 50 grown-ass men into a movie theater. I need 50 for The Incredibles too, please.
So the acquisition of Fox by Disney should be officially done by the end of next summer. Woo. I still think it's gonna be done before that because that takes it up to like almost like 20 months or something like that. I think it'll be done before that. But they're saying no later than next summer. So
That's just a time frame because you know they'll be like, so when are you getting it done? So when are you getting it done? Huh?
poke.
Huh? When are you getting it done?
So, It Chapter 2.
Yay!
How excited are you for that?
I'm actually really excited.
How would you feel about James McAvoy and Bill Hader being in it?
Cool. I can get behind it.
They're actually in talks to join Jessica Chastain.
I like Bill Hader, so.
I like James McAvoy. Did you see Split? Holy shit.
Yeah.
That guy's got some skill.
Like, I can get behind it.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Did I ever tell you about the time I met Bill Hader?
No.
Well, we went to New York for foreign language club. What was it, freshman year high school? So, like, 2 years ago. And we went to NBC Studios up in New York, and he just happened to be there. I fucking met Bill Hader. I was like, tits. Same person as he is in the movies.
Yeah.
Still kind of an asshole.
I'm not a big Bill Hader fan, so. Terminator 6, or whatever the hell it's going to be called.
Terminator 1.5.2
has cast Gabriel Luna, who played Ghost Rider in last season's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He has been cast in the new Terminator, and the new Terminator as the new Terminator. Like, he will be the Terminator.
He's the new Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't see it. Don't see it.
I mean, if he beefs up, maybe. Maybe. And gets a really bad accent.
He doesn't have the persona. Like, you know, there's some things like the first Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was, in the first Terminator, the villain, he was menacing. You know?
Because it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The T-1000 in Terminator 2, I cannot think of who played him for the life of me right now, and I'm really mad at myself. But he was menacing. You know, the T-1000 was menacing. The chick in Terminator 3 was meh. That's partly why the movie wasn't good. You know,
That's why we never made it there to the reboot.
Terminator Salvation didn't have that same feel. Terminator Salvation was more of like Skynet as the main villain there, and that was Helena Bonham Carter, or whatever her name is. She was kind of the face of Skynet. That was not great, even though I do like that movie. That wasn't great. And then Terminator Genesis, they made what's his face, the villain in it. Jesus Christ.
No, he's our Lord and Savior, not the villain.
Sarah Connor's son. Why can't I think of his name? John Connor. There we go. John Connor. They made John Connor the villain in Terminator Genesis, which
that doesn't even make fucking sense.
Dude, that movie just was shit. It was complete shit.
We should get Brian back on here.
Yeah, talk Terminator again.
Yeah, do a movie boot.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with Terminator. I just don't see Gabriel Luna being able to pull off that menacing type of feel.
I can see where you're coming from. I can see it.
Comic book movies. Charlie Heaton, who is the star of the hopefully upcoming New Mutants, had this to say about the movie. It's basically about these mutants in a facility for damaged mutants. It's a story about these characters coming to grips with who they are, and it's a horror X-Men movie, which we haven't seen before. I feel like for an X-Men movie, yeah, I think they're going full-fledged horror. Without saying too much, I really don't want to give away too much what it's about. It's very under wraps. But it is, in terms of anything we've seen in the X-Men world, it definitely is a horror film. It's scarier than anything we've seen in that genre. Cool? So I actually hope it comes out, even though they're reshooting supposedly like half the movie. But
yeah, cool. We're not going to see it.
Yeah. I have no other DC news today.
How could you? You're supposed to hate Marvel and like DC.
Yeah, I know.
My nipples are hard.
Get new ones.
Nice. So, well, yep, about that time. You hear that, people? You hear that, folks? It's time where Colton makes an ass out of himself in this week's Road to Infinity War. Journey to Infinity War, where this week's movie is probably Ragnarok. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
Go for it. So what happened in Thor Ragnarok, sir?
I'm going to let the music play for a second. Okay, Thor Ragnarok. Okay, cool. So Thor, he goes... It opens up and he's like fighting Satan. Or that's how I like to think that what's his face is. Sultor or some shit. Satan, and he's like, oh, no, and it's all comedy and it kind of takes you out of the movie a little bit, and then he defeats Satan with the power of Jesus Christ.
And Led Zeppelin.
And Led Zeppelin. Yeah, fucking Zeppelin. The Stairway was playing in the background. No, it wasn't. Oh, fuck, what was the name of the song? Why can't I think of the name of the song?
I don't know. I'm not a big Led Zeppelin fan, so
I can't think of the name of it. It's one of like the 4 songs I know of them. I can't remember the name. So that's playing, and then he like goes back to Earth. Or no, he doesn't get back to Earth first. He goes back to Asgard and finds out that Loki's been like cosplaying as his dad because that's hot. And Loki's like, ooh, I hit him somewhere. And he's like, okay. So he goes to Earth. And there's a weird Doctor Strange cameo because I don't really know that it was needed, but okay, it's there. And then he's like, here's your dad. And he draws the circle in the air because that's what they do. I forget what it's called. All right, everything.
I'm good.
So, oh wait, no, Loki's there on Earth too because he's like, I can't poop in this porta potty or some shit. So they go there and like Odin dies after warning him that Hela's coming, and they're like, Hela good cheese, and they're like, nah. He's like, Hella good time, and they're like, nah, her name's Hela, and he's like, Hella nice. And so yeah, he dies and like disappears. And then Hela appears and she's like, hell yeah, Hela yeah, Hela at your girl. And she fucks shit up. She destroys Mjolnir. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, close enough.
Cool. And Thor's like, no. I forget what happens after that. But then somehow he's in space and shit. And Loki's kid, yeah, some shit happens. I forget, like, that part's a little gray, but Hela fucking destroys everybody. She just gets poo-poo on her pee-pee everywhere. And then, who plays her?
Kate Blanchett.
She's pretty hot. Sorry, Nicole. But then, yeah, he goes to the planet with the it's Grandmaster, isn't it? Grandmaster. And Jeff Goldblum's just Jeff Goldblum in the movie and doing Jeff Goldblum things. And he fights Hulk and, you know, realizes that, like, the Hulk hasn't been Bruce Banner in, 4 years or some shit?
Something like that.
And then, so yeah, then he meets the Valkyrie girl. I can't think of her name either. And they're like, yeah, we're going to escape. And then they end up escaping. And then, I can't pronounce his name either. The black guy.
Heimdall?
Yeah, there we go. Heimdall is like helping civilians escape. And they're eventually all escaping, and Thor comes in to fight Hela and gets his eye scooped out with a fork. And then they get this really cool fight scene, and fucking Hulk takes on this giant ass wolf, and it's pretty badass. And then, you know, Satan appears again. By Loki stealing the Tesseract and lighting fire underneath his mighty helmet. And Ragnarok comes to fruition and they all escape. But Hela dies, ? But not really. And then, like, they're floating in space. And then the mid-credit scene's like, they run into Thanos' ship and they're like, oh, fuck. And then, Credits. And then post-credit scene, Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum. Ragnarok.
All right. That's not bad at all. I couldn't have done it better myself that way.
You know, Satan didn't make an appearance in yours.
Yeah. Satan, also known as Surtur.
I did a pretty good job on that one. Yeah. Except for that gray area after Hela appears. I can't remember what happens.
Well, they try to escape to Asgard without her, and she jumps into Bifrost with them, and she knocks them out of the Bifrost.
Oh, yeah, and then Loki, like, ends up on that planet before Thor.
Yeah.
Never mind,
the time difference, because he was knocked out first, so, like, the amount of time was only seconds for them, but really...
It was, like, years.
A year, like, from the time he landed on the planet, so...
that makes sense. Yeah, that was the only thing I couldn't remember.
There you have it. So next week is going to be Black Panther.
We may have to edit that one.
But, yes, next week will be Black Panther. But also next week is going to be a one-off episode for us where we're just going to pretty much talk all Marvel. It's going to be a few days before Infinity War comes out. So we're going to decide where we see that at, right? Yeah, we'll figure out where we're seeing it.
Okay, cool. Because I'm going to have Nicole with me. It's going to be her first pre-screening. Like, her first... like seeing it on a Thursday.
Okay.
It's gonna be her first one.
Opening night.
Yeah. There we go. I couldn't think of that one.
Gotcha.
First opening night for her.
I've been to so many in my life. I kind of feel bad.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna count it because we're probably gonna see it first screening.
But speaking of Infinity War, Infinity War is projected to beat out Star Wars The Force Awakens in its opening weekend, at least domestically. So the projection right now for Infinity War is that it's going to make between $235 million and $255 million.
I could see it.
Opening weekend.
I can see it.
Keep in mind, The Force Awakens, their opening weekend, made $247.9 million.
That's a lot of
so,
money.
if the projection is right and Infinity War does the high end of that, yeah, it's gonna beat out The Force Awakens. But if it stays closer to the lower, then Force Awakens will still hold that record. So my question to you is, what do you think? What do you think the opening weekend will be for Infinity War? And the bar to beat is 247.9 set by The Force Awakens.
I don't think it's gonna beat it.
You don't think it's gonna beat it?
I'm gonna say it's gonna go 245.
270. I'm saying 270.
You think it's gonna be that high?
I'm gonna say 270. The reason why,
honestly, if it's good, I'll probably see it again.
Here's what I'm looking at. So, Star Wars. All right. Yeah, it was 10 years between the first
Episode
movie and
3,
the last movie.
yeah.
So 10 years, people just were hungry for Star Wars. Star Wars is that rare type of franchise that, so many people love.
Yeah, it's a dedicated fan base.
The fan base is larger than almost any other fan base. The problem is Star Wars, while it's huge, and you had to wait 10 years between movies.
It's not Marvel huge.
I would say it's just as large as Marvel, but the difference is you have Marvel right now, who for the last 10 years has given us 1 to 2 movies, 3 movies in some cases every year for the past 10 years. All right. So you take a look at that, we've been getting, and it's been a build up to this moment for 10 years. For 10 years, well, not 10 years, maybe 8 years, 6 years, something like that. It's been building to this moment. We didn't know in the first few years that this is what it was building to, but once Kevin Feige and everybody was like, this is what we want to get to, then it was just like, oh shit, we can't wait for it. So starting with the first Avengers up to now, this is what we've been waiting for. So I think that's why it's going to draw more people in. For instance, my mom will go see Star Wars. No problem. Like, she'll see Star Wars because I say, hey, let's go see Star Wars. She loves Star Wars.
You're like, hey, Mom, let's go see Star Wars. Well, honey, I don't know who left the cat in the refrigerator. Referring to your mom having Alzheimer's.
My mom doesn't have Alzheimer's.
Yeah, the fan base didn't know that, damn it.
So, okay, yeah, my mom will go. So my mom went and saw Captain America Winter Soldier when it was out in theaters, okay?
It's a weird place to start.
Well, she was taking my sister. My sister wanted to go to the movies. They wanted to go. And for some reason, my sister wanted to see Captain America. So my mom watched it. My mom was absolutely so pleased with that movie.
She was like, I need a list of all of the movies.
She did. And I gave her a list. And she hasn't gone through all of them, but she's interested. And that's what Marvel has done, where my mom got into Star Wars when she was a kid. That's why she's watching it now.
Star Wars did in the 70s.
Yeah.
What Marvel's doing now.
Exactly. So now you have Marvel grabbing people like my mom, that probably never liked Star Wars, who didn't go and see Star Wars, but will go and see this because this is an event. This is a big event. To me, honestly, though, the marketing for it has been ass. Like, absolute ass.
Yeah.
I haven't seen many things on TV. Like, if they were smart, NHL playoffs are going on right now. The NBA playoffs have started. Like, that's where you want to start showing some of these TV spots because that's your demographic that you're shooting for.
Especially this close to the movie.
Exactly. And I haven't seen a single thing. I don't watch the NBA playoffs, so I don't know if they're showing it there. But the NHL playoffs, I've watched a handful of the games since it started last week. Probably more than I should have. Waking up, later than I need to in the morning because I stayed up all night watching hockey. But my point is...
You're pulling a me, man.
My point is the marketing I just don't think is done very well. But then again, do they need to do the marketing because they've had 10 years of marketing?
Yeah, it's big enough. It's already done its job.
But I feel that it's able to pull everybody. This is an event. This is pulling everybody. This is pulling grandmothers, grandfathers, moms, dads, kids, brothers,
nephews,
sisters.
redheaded stepchilds.
It's pulling everybody for it. Star Wars did some of that, but not all of it. Star Wars pulled the grandfathers and the grandfathers, not so much the grandmothers. Star Wars pulled the parents, mostly the dads, not so much the mothers. Pulled the kids, more the boys than the girls. I'm not saying that girls don't love Star Wars. I'm not saying that at all. But when you really think about it, I mean...
It's more geared towards men.
It was much more geared towards men before. Now, since Disney's taken over Lucasfilm has been focusing a lot on the girl aspect of things.
It's almost completely flipped.
And we've noticed that. But that's kind of what I believe is going to happen. The only reason that it won't make that 270 is if it fucking sucks. And I do believe there's potential for it to suck. And I've talked about this many times because of the Russo brothers. Look, the Russos did great with Winter Soldier. They fucked up with Civil War, and I'm afraid that they could fuck up with this. And that's the only reason why it won't hit 270, is if they fucked it up somehow.
I'm saying 245.
So
I'm sticking with my 245.
270.
245. We'll shake on it.
What are we betting?
I don't know. As I wipe my nose with that hand. I'll bet you $5. Or I'll bet you lunch.
Lunch.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll bet you. That's like a $5
right.
bet, by the way.
So, let's say it makes $300 million.
Okay.
Who wins? Is it the person who's closest?
We both win.
We'll buy ourselves lunch.
Basically.
Because if it makes say it makes, you said what, 245?
Mm-hmm.
If it makes 250, I say you won because you were closer. That's just the way,
Yeah. Well, okay, I can get behind it.
The closest without going over.
Yeah.
So we'll do the prices right.
Yes.
Closest without going over. Okay. So if it's under 245, nobody wins.
Yes.
Okay.
But if it's like that weird in-between number, almost exactly half, who wins?
We buy ourselves lunch.
Okay. Because that could happen.
It could.
What's between?
We're going to do the math with calculators.
Yeah, we're going to sit there. Well, technically, it's our job to do numbers like that, so.
All right, so now that we're about an hour or more into the episode.
Yeah, ballpark.
We're going to get into what the episode is all about. So.
Wait, gotta prepare the notes.
Okay, so our first volume of our new podcast has been New Beginnings.
You're a new beginning.
The big thing, the New Beginnings was for us because we were starting new, fresh with a new name, everything like that. So the first week was just all about us. Second week was...
Yeah, because we're a little tension-starved whores.
Yeah. The second week was about, which was last week, was about movie remakes and reboots. Things that just, they remake and reboot constantly in movies. This week, what we wanted to do is talk about TV show reboots and revivals. And we're going to do similar to what we did. It's not necessarily a list. We're just going to talk about it. We're just going to discuss.
Except for your boy got a list.
I mean, I got a list too, but that's so I can remember to talk about certain things.
Nice.
I don't remember who started last week, so I'll just let you start this week. Give me a show that was a reboot or revival, what you think they did well, what they didn't do well.
Boy Meets World, and its revival show Girl Meets World, and it was on Disney.
To me, first off, Boy Meets World was my shit.
Yeah, same.
Right? My shit. I
loved it.
Here's the thing. It started it started before you were born. So I was watching it. I grew up with it. You didn't grow up with it. You started watching it when it was over. So
yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, Boy Meets World was the shit. Girl Meets World, I understand where you're coming from the idea of reboot and revival. To me, that wasn't either, because I think it was more of a continuation, which I think is slightly different than a revival. Like a revival to me would have been, it's Boy Meets World. And it's
Boy
continuing the story of Corey and Topanga and I can't remember his name, but yeah.
I mean, technically it is.
But the focus is on the girls.
On
it's on the girls, on their kids, which I watch. I watched the entire series. And, you can sit there and make fun of me for it. I enjoyed it. But it was the nostalgia.
Super gay.
It was the nostalgia thing. Because I wanted to see where these characters that I grew up with, where they were at this point. And that's why I watched it. And, yeah, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. But again, I wouldn't look at it as a reboot or revival. I just see it as a new show. It's continuing the story of Boy Meets World, but it's more of a new show.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Okay. But no, I'm not saying that you can't have it on your list.
Okay.
Here's one that I'm going to say, and you may even say, no, you're wrong. Scrubs. So Scrubs ended the JD and Elliot's storyline. I think it was season 7 or 8. And then they had one more season that they did after that, and it was brought back by ABC, and they did a season with completely different characters. And to me, that's a revival, because it was the same name, still Scrubs. Many of the main characters were still the same, with the exception of JD and Elliot and stuff like that. They kind of left.
The main,
but Turk
characters.
and Dr. Cox were still there. Some of the big ones were still there. So to me, while it ended and came back the next year, to me, like I kind of felt like it was a revival. They were trying to revive it to be for the show to live on, and it sucked. It was
that bad.
That last season was horrible. The chick who played the main character, I can't remember her name. Anyways, she ended up being on the show *Halt and Catch Fire*, but she just wasn't as interesting as JD. Like Zach Braff, he brought something to Scrubs. Like, his persona, the way that he was, is what made Scrubs. And the way that
I don't want no Scrubs.
The camaraderie he had with all the other actors and actresses, like that's what made Scrubs. So you remove him from the equation, it starts to not be as good, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So,
Futurama.
Excellent. Yeah,
because it was a revival.
Yeah, because it went off the air, and then 5 years later, it came back on Comedy Central.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then,
it
only lasted 3 years.
Yeah.
But, man, those 3 years were good. They actually had a lot of heartfelt episodes.
See, I'm more of a fan of the original series run before than the revival. But, yeah, Futurama it's a great show.
And no matter who you are, it's like Family Guy, but not as raunchy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got the art of The Simpsons and the flair of Family Guy almost.
Yeah. Minus, all the fart jokes and
the flashbacks.
Yeah. Except for towards the end. Towards the end had a shit ton of flashbacks, but it was because it had you in the feels.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting. I look at your list here, and you did the same thing as I did. 24. And not just once, but twice.
Yeah. And it's funny how the 2 times only lasted a year.
A year. Well, you got to remember, so 24, the original run was from 2001 to 2010. Fucking fantastic show.
It was a great fucking show.
God, that show.
I mean, I didn't watch it until 2009.
Yeah.
Because, I was
I'm the
3.
same way. I'm the same way. I didn't start watching it until 2008, 2009.
But the difference is I was 2 when it started.
Yeah, and I was working on Hollywood Video at the time, so I had all of the seasons, with the exception of the last 2, at my fingertips. So I literally binge watched. I would work in Hollywood Video. You're allowed to rent 3 movies a night, for free, being an employee. So literally, that was 3 movies or 3 DVDs every night, and I was watching.
No sleep.
5-6 hours a night of 24 until I was done with the show.
So you went 4 months with no sleep.
Basically, it was bad, but I have my reasons for it. But yeah, that's basically what I did. It was crazy. So when 24 was coming back, and it was called 24 Live Another Day, I came back in 2014 with Jack Bauer, still Kiefer Sutherland in the role. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yes, it's back. Now, it was a short run. It was 12 episodes compared to the 24 episodes it was. And it was set in Britain, which was completely different. It was in the UK, so it was whoa, what's going on here? It was very different. I loved it. I thought it was great. They brought some of the characters back from previous seasons that I never thought I'd get to see again. The thing with 24 was always just you had to suspend your belief with the way the world works, because it was very, very out there from time to time. But it was just so much fun. It was just fun. It was never charging your cell phone in a 24-hour period, never taking bathroom breaks, constantly yelling, damn it. That's just the funny memes that you see from 24. That's what almost every episode was. And it was just great. So 24, Live Another Day was excellent. And then the way it ended, I was like, oh, we can get more. There was always talks of a movie, that they were going to end it with a movie. And before 24 Legacy came out in 2017, there were still talks of doing a movie. Kiefer Sutherland has always been on board for it, but they just never done it. So since then, Kiefer Sutherland went on to do Designated Survivor on ABC, left Fox to do that. So they were like, we want to bring 24 back, but let's try and do a reboot of it, where
we can bring in someone else.
It's a reboot, yet it's still a continuation because everything that happened with Jack Bauer is in the past. This is just after Jack Bauer stuff with a new person. You can look on my DVR right now, Colton. I still have the last, I think, 7 episodes to watch.
Wow.
I have not watched the last 7 episodes. I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't. For being as big of a 24 fan as I was, I just couldn't get into it. Just couldn't do it. You know what it was? Kiefer Sutherland. There was no Kiefer Sutherland. Like, Jack Bauer. It was Jack Bauer.
After all the years, you just grew attached to the character.
The guy, I can't remember his name.
Well, after a year,
The guy that plays in 24 Legacy, he's an excellent actor. I've watched him in other movies. He's a good actor. I think he was in Kong Skull Island. Enjoyed it. Like, he's a good actor. I just couldn't get into the show. I just couldn't do it, So,
such a shame.
What are your thoughts on it, though? Because I kind of stole your...
Nah, you're good. It's been so long since I've watched like the original one that it's kind of like...
Yeah. We have another one?
You want another one?
Sure.
I'm gonna say it, even though it kind of follows the thing of Boy Meets World. Samurai Jack.
No, that's a revival.
I mean, it came back for its final season to tie it up.
Yeah, that's a revival. Like, again, like I said, Boy Meets World, the Girl Meets World.
I mean, yeah.
Because, like, for that, to me, you can say it's a revival. You can. I mean, there's arguments for it. To me, it's not. To me, it's a brand new show. It just so happens that it has some of my favorite characters from another show in it. More of a spin-off than anything.
But Samurai Jack, final season came back.
Believe it or not, I've never watched any Samurai Jack.
What? Yeah. Oh my god. This was prime time for me. This was like, I'm staying up past my bedtime to watch.
You're what, 6 years old when it came out, or 5 years old?
5 when it came out.
Yeah.
Actually, I started watching it towards 2003, but still so good.
It's still crazy that it took 13 years for them to finally finish it up.
Right? But, I mean, I think it's probably because, like, the whole anime thing did disappear from Cartoon Network there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, but not in 2004, because Dragon Ball was still going on after that, wasn't it? I
think they were in GT then, but still, I don't know. Maybe it was like,
I mean, the early 2000s was absolutely anime,
everything
on Cartoon Network.
Those were the prime times.
Adult Swim, Toonami, it was all anime.
Yeah. That was back when Adult Swim and Toonami were 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Remember those days, kids. Remember those days. I shouldn't even be old enough to remember those days, but I do. I was a bad kid.
The Tick. The Tick is a reboot.
Yeah, no.
So there you had the one that was on, I think it was in the 90s with Patrick Warburton.
Mm-hmm.
Funny show. It wasn't bad for what it was. But then you have the new one with Peter Serafinowicz, the voice of Darth Maul.
That's a hell of a name. I say that every time, too.
He's the Tick in the revival on Amazon. And I tell you what, it's a damn good show. I still haven't watched the second half of the first season. But the first half I watched, damn good show. I really enjoyed it. It's a good time.
You're a good time.
Again, it's a reboot. It's just a good reboot. Sometimes you can reboot things and really do well with it. And the biggest reason why I wanted to do the reboots and revivals is because in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, we've had 2 shows either be rebooted or revived. Roseanne was revived. Okay?
Yeah.
Came back from the dead. Literally. Dan Connor in the show
came back from the dead.
He was written off as being dead in the very last episode, but he came back, and they made a little funny joke about it right away, and then they kind of wrote into it like, oh no, it was the book that she was writing where he died. He didn't actually die. So that was kind of how that went. Cool.
That super thick plot armor.
Yeah, but and I tell you what, I've watched all 4 episodes so far of Roseanne.
I haven't watched any of them.
It's just good fun. It's just good fun.
Is it
it's
like the original?
Yeah, I mean they haven't missed a beat.
I can probably watch it then.
So I
put it on here because I knew for a fact that it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the biggest one that I wanted to talk about was Lost in Space. Lost in Space.
I don't have it on mine.
Not surprised, but Lost in Space was a TV show from the late 60s, and it was kind of an out there sci-fi show about a family who gets, guess what, lost in space.
You're lost in space.
In 1998, there was a attempt at creating a Lost in Space movie franchise with the movie Lost in Space. Gary Oldman was in it. Matt LeBlanc from Friends was in it. Heather Graham, I think his name, was in it. Like, you had these actors and actresses that you're like, okay, they're recognizable. I can watch it. You know, I remember being 12 years old watching it, and I loved it. Like, I went home from school, I went to school, and on my notebooks I was drawing the ship from Lost in Space, stuff like that. Like,
nerd.
Yeah, I loved the movie. It didn't hurt that it had a really hot chick who was a teenager in it, but
something to beat your meat to. Tell her she's gonna ride that baloney pony.
But, you know, like, to me, I liked it. So I know that it was never exactly like the TV show, but how could it be? So this past weekend, or this past Friday, Lost in Space, a brand new TV show, Reboot, was created and put out by Netflix. And the trailer, I had no idea it was even coming until I saw a trailer, 2 months ago?
That's what she said.
And I was like, holy shit, like, this came out of nowhere. So I saw the teaser trailer, I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. And then I refused to watch the full-length trailer because I didn't want anything spoiled. Because to me, Lost in Space it's gonna be that type of show that's
got to be Lost in Space.
So I eventually did watch the trailer about a week ago, and I was like, okay, I'm in. I want to check it out. Dude, it is so good. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the greatest thing ever, but Netflix just knocked it out of the park. I think the thing that's so great about it is it's movie quality. Yeah. Like, the special effects, the direction, everything, the acting is movie quality. The robot is so believable as a character, and you know that it was probably done with motion capture and CGI, but goddamn, is it good? You know, the first episode fucking grabs you and just doesn't let you go.
Grabs you, rips your testicle off.
You know, I was expecting it to be the normal setup for a TV series. Normally, the first couple episodes are, this is who this person is, this is who this person is, this is who this person is. Oh, look, they're going to be going out into space in 3 episodes. No, the episode starts, they're in space already. And then, boom, they're lost in space. Like that. Like, you're just like that. It just, boom.
Just took a wrong turn? Or
But then they start to, through flashbacks, start to say, okay, this is where they come from, this is who they are, and it's the flashbacks take place across the entire 10 episodes, so you're learning along the way, and it's not flashbacks like, say, Arrow from the Arrowverse. It's just, you know, here and there, you know, little like 2-minute segments here or there throughout the series. Nothing crazy and it doesn't always necessarily connect with the storyline that's going on, just kind of little like, hey, this is this person and this is where they come from type of thing. So I loved it. I thought they did an excellent job. I was gripped right away in the first episode. Like, they just, and it doesn't let go. Like, it's just constant. Like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, constantly. It is very different from the movie as well as the original show. Very different. But I love it. Like, the robot, like, his backstory is fantastic. Like, that, to me, that was like the most intriguing part of it. And they ended so well where it's just like, I need to see more about all these characters. Not
so well written.
Very well written. You know, the kid who plays Will Robinson, a little kid, you know, I don't know how much you know of Lost in Space, but, you know, Will Robinson was like one of the main things from Lost in Space. And, you know, he and the robot have a relationship. And, you know, one of the sayings that the robot would say is "Danger, Will Robinson." I'm sure you've heard that in the past. But the little kid who plays Will Robinson is fantastic. Like, he's a great actor. Like, he has to be maybe 10 to 12 years old, max 12 years old. But, you know, you have this family dynamic, and they're a dysfunctional family. You know, you have the father and wife, or the husband and wife. They, you know, they're almost on the verge of separation at this point. You have 2 daughters, one daughter who kind of resents the other because you know, she's always looking for her approval and, you know, just wants to be in her life. The other one who resents the younger sister because she's annoying, you know. And then you have Will, who's the youngest, who is just such a smart mind, but just protected. He's over, you know, his mother protects him too much, and you find out why later on. But it's about this family, you know, the stories about the family coming together as a family, for one, But there's so many other characters that come into it as well that get added to the mix that you're just like, it grabs you. You're like, oh, well, that character's interesting. That character's interesting, you know? I don't even know I don't want to give anything away because it's that kind of show where I want people to go and experience it for themselves, because if you've watched the original show, if you watch that movie in 1998, none of that is relevant to this show.
And it's its own thing.
And that's what I think makes it so good. You know, it grabs the essence of the idea of being lost in space, which, you know, is the basis of the show and everything. But this story, where they take it, how they take it, the fucking scenery, man, is beautiful. This planet that they land on is just...
That green screen is...
That's the thing. Like, I couldn't... There was maybe 2 or 3 moments where I was like, that's definitely green screen. Besides that, I'm just like, God damn, that is good. It's a Netflix show.
Yeah,
like,
when Netflix takes their time and makes something good.
Exactly. Like, to me, like, even Game of Thrones, when I watch Game of Thrones, sometimes I'm sitting there like, that is completely
really
obviously
fake.
green screen, and that's fake. This, like, even... Like, there's different animals and wildlife on this planet, and I was just like, that's damn good looking. You know, it looks real. Like,
you're like, I can put my dick in it.
So definitely check out Lost in Space on Netflix now. I want you to check it out because I want them to get greenlit for a second season, because I need to see a second season. Damn it!
You're a second season. Speaking of second seasons, guess who's in their second season? The remote control.
No, they aren't. Another show. Give me it.
Oh shit! I thought we were ending on that one. Oh, you're smacking me with a curve.
Yeah.
Prison Break.
Yeah, I have that on there. I
like the original. I didn't care for the revival.
I watched a little more than half of the Prison Break, the original run. Once they got to Mexico or wherever and were trying to break out of that prison, I was like, what the fuck is going on in this? Like, this is...
Yeah.
What the hell happened? The first season was phenomenal. Second season wasn't bad, but after that, it was just like, what the fuck?
You're like, now you're just... now you're doing dumb penny crimes to get into jail to break out of jail.
Exactly. Like, how did the warden from the first season get into jail with them in Mexico?
And now why are they all breaking out of jail?
Like, it was so wild.
All
and
over
ridiculous.
3 pesos? I don't even understand it.
So I stopped. I didn't even watch the revival. From what I understood, one of the characters actually died at the end of the original run, but wasn't really dead, came back, and the revival... I fuck with people dying and not being dead, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. Will and Grace, I wasn't a big fan of that, but that was revived.
You're a revival.
Here's one, and I put it on here because I wanted to ask your opinion. Star Trek Discovery.
Nope.
Why?
It's Star Trek.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you watch it, but do you think it's a revival or a reboot or anything?
Don't know. Don't know anything about the series. You're laughing. I'm not. That's the thing. I am that much of a Star Wars fan. I refuse to watch Star Trek.
I'm telling you, if you watch those J.J. Abrams films, at least the first one,
I will
really enjoy
probably hang myself.
You will probably enjoy it.
Nope.
Probably enjoy it.
Nope.
American Idol. Revived.
Yeah, it is revived, but I don't like I didn't like American Idol after the Bo Bice season.
Twin Peaks was revived. Hawaii Five-0 was a reboot.
I knew there were Hawaii 501.
MacGyver was reboot.
Really?
Munsters. Yeah, MacGyver's on season 2 of their reboot.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. The Munsters was rebooted. I want to say it was like 6 or 7 years ago, called Mockingbird Lane, and that's because that's where they live. They live in Mockingbird Lane. And instead of them actually looking like monsters like they did in the original Munsters, they looked like normal humans, but they still had like the characteristics of the monsters. You know, so one was like a Frankenstein monster type of character. One, the son was a vampire, that kind of stuff. You know.
So did they have like a hand just rolling around?
That's the Addams Family.
Damn it! I knew it was the Addams Family. Why did I say it out loud?
But rumor has it that they're looking at rebooting the Munsters again.
Oh dear God!
But this time, like making it a musical or something. I don't fucking know. They're doing something weird with
Please make it like Glee, please. I just want one episode of it so I can laugh at it and then quit watching it.
The last one I want to touch on is Heroes. Heroes Reborn. Heroes was an excellent show the first season.
That's the case with most of these shows, actually. Like, the first season was good, and then
the one thing you have to remember with some of these things, like Prison Break and Heroes came out around the same time, and whether it was like the second or third season in their cases, they got hit with that damn writer strike that took place in 2012. And when that writer strike came, the quality of the shows dropped majorly. So like season 2 of Heroes completely went off the rails. It made no fucking sense what they decided to do with it, because the writers from the first season were gone. They had a vision. Their vision was no longer there because they had to keep making the show, but they couldn't use those writers. They had to bring in, independent writers to write for the show, and it just went off the rails, and it just was shit. So then they tried to right the ship in the third season, and it kind of got there. By the time
damage was done.
By the time they ended the show, though, with the carnival and everything, it was just like, what the fuck is going on? So when they were like, hey, we're going to bring Heroes back, and I was like, you know what, this is a good thing, because they have a chance to redeem themselves for the shit they fucked up with.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either, you know? So that's kind of my problem with it. So that was the last one I wanted to talk about. Anything more you want to talk about?
No, touch on
much.
everything.
And just like we said about the movies last week, I think the thing that makes a good reboot or revival for TV shows is being able to capture the essence of what made the original so good. Look at Roseanne.
Making it its own thing.
Yeah, look at Roseanne. The revival of Roseanne was able to recapture what was so good about the original show and the original run.
And bring John Goodman back to life.
As well as adapting it to today's world. You take it something like Lost in Space. They were able to say, you know what, it's a great concept, but we need to make it more realistic, more what we would expect to see in today's world. And they did it, and they did it fantastically. So whereas movies like reboots and stuff like that are a little bit different than a TV standpoint, you still have to capture some of the same essence that you've captured in the past. So
you can't reboot something without having anything from the previous show.
Exactly. So
can't be like, hey, let's reboot, TRC, but we can't because it doesn't exist anymore.
So let us know what some of your favorite reboots and revivals are from TV.
Let us know if we should reboot a podcast. There's a couple that we've done that we haven't really done lately. Yeah. That's, I think, it for this week's episode. Remember, check out Dead Leap. The information is down in the description. Comic book is excellent. Speaking of
help support our buddies at Nerdtalkalypse, Deechman Hall, and everything like that. So check that out. Keep an eye on this week. We will have a Star Wars talk out this week where we're talking and diving even deeper into the Solo trailer.
Yeah, we're going to break that shit down.
And I think that's about it. Next week is going to be we're going to get away from our New Beginnings. It's going to be a solo episode.
Solo on Solo.
No, it's going to be on Infinity War. So it's going to be a Marvel centric episode next week. So hopefully you stick around and listen to that next week, and even listen to it while you're waiting in line to go see Infinity War next Friday.
We will be.
So check us out on Facebook and Twitter and everything like that. I had some fun discussions yesterday during The Walking Dead on Twitter, just talking to people about things. So, it was a good time. So, all right. With that said, I've been Robert. With me was Colton Bird,
the skinny penis,
and we will talk to you all later. Maybe.
Bye.
I don't know. I forgot to do this.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.